Welcome back to Nico's Place. And if you're not new, just welcome. This is my character I'm making. I am rebooting slash remaking my series called Chimera Academy. Was originally going to be human into monster school, but changing it slightly so it's a fantasy setting from the get-go rather than something like Rosario Vampire. But let me introduce the character I am drawing. This is Valorie Nightingale, otherwise known as Val. She's an aquatic toxic dragon, aka Black Dragon from Dungeons and Dragons. I kind of renamed them all so it wouldn't be associated with color because that would be a little too boring. Anyway, this character is when she's introduced is majorly flirting with Connor, who is the main character, or one of them. Have two main characters, Connor and his stepsister. And to continue with Valerie, she is chaotic, unpredictable, but end of the day, her chaos is all in good fun, and she's just being friendly in her own way. And she might have brutal jokes and comebacks, but doesn't mean any offense by it. I made her look like a gator because I wanted her to be more of an aquatic type of dragon, or based on an aquatic type of dragon. But since she has no wings, I'm kind of calling her a drake because in most things I read, drakes are like wingless dragons for the most part. And to continue with her, you'll see after I color her, but instead of just a dark gray or like a black dragon, I made her somewhere in between blue and green undertones, but still a dark color on her what would be skin. So I guess scales instead in this instance. And as for the magic she uses, instead of toxic gas or fire, I gave her water and nature magic because I feel like that would be a lot more interesting. And I made her background, despite being a black dragon, to be raised in some type of swamp or lake. And I wanted to make it more clean and filtered magic instead of swampy water. So I made her live in a very clean type of swamp, despite being a rough and tumble type of girl. And after I started drawing her, I was originally going to make her a type of villain, but I decided against that because I think it's cool when you have an ally who is the tough type of person and aggressive and doesn't have to be a villain. I mean, there are a lot of characters like that, and for her, I did not want her to be a villain because I guess I was enjoying drawing her too much and felt like she belonged as part of the main cast rather than a side character or villain per se. And I'm because I gave her a relative that is actually evil, who's half fire dragon, half toxic dragon, and made them more of distant relatives, but still have some sort of connection. And they will butt heads because she actually doesn't want to be evil despite her being stereotypically tough for her species. And I still gave her those type of horns that black dragons would have, at least from what I saw. I was gonna give her fins on her arms and maybe her calves too, but I guess that was kind of too difficult for me, so just gave her webbed hands. And still improving here. Need to improve with the gestures, so I can make the line art better, because you can see me struggling throughout this video of how to draw her. But I was passionate when drawing her, so it ended up being decently okay. I say that even though I know I am at least good. But you can always improve in your art. And I want to improve to be part of my story in Chimera Academy. Because this character I ended up liking more than I thought. There are other characters in this that will remain villains, such as her cousin, and a few others that might not be main characters, but more of side characters that her cousin recruits. Because I made my story a little dragon heavy, so I made a bunch of humanoid dragons that I will include later on. But the two main characters are human, who are mistaken as demons, but I'll get into that in a separate video because I will have to draw both Connor and his stepsister Briar later on. For now, let's just enjoy the dragons. I made a few hybrid dragons. Another one included in the main cast is also a hybrid, but there are a few side characters that are hybrids as well. But I might include some regular dragons. But it's not really dragons, are they? By looks, they look more like the half dragons you see in Dungeons and Dragons, rather than full on dragonoids. Because I don't think I'm gonna draw the wings because that would be difficult, especially if I'm making them in a school slash college setting. Can't have their wings in the hallway. So when they're walking, I'm gonna have their wings hidden away and maybe through magic or something. And then if they're actually fighting, flying, or maybe extreme emotions, would extend their wings in those situations. But for her, maybe she has a secret back fin that would help her swim. And that way I can give her some fins later on and maybe include a design page for Valorie because that's what I feel like I need to do. I need to do more character sheets rather than just a single character. But that takes me so long. And this is her. Enjoy. Thank you.